All right. What is going on, people? Super duper excited to stream tonight and fucking forever. I know, but appreciate you guys bearing with me. We are live with some Rakdos dominable creativity. Been working on this deck a little bit. Honestly, it's just fun to me. I like cheating big creatures into play. It's something that I've enjoyed for quite a long time. Playing Magic, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Who doesn't like cheating in World Spy? I mean, really, this set is a very interesting one in Pioneer, because I feel like it's somewhat unexplored. There's a lot of cards in this set that have a modern feel to them. World Spine Worm just being like the biggest, baddest creature you could possibly cheat out, and we're gonna get into it tonight with some more World Spine Worm. Been some interesting decks that I wanted to try out. Just sort of trying to fit this card into different shells. I know that he's stuck in here, baby. You heard me? Baby. Sorry, guys. Hold on. My dog's stuck in my room. Baby. He's stuck in here. Yeah, he couldn't get out. He was about to be. He was looking out the door like, mama. Yeah. Poor baby. Anyway, sorry. She didn't realize she accidentally stuck him in the room and no way to get out. He was like, Mom. Anyway, so yeah, like I've been trying to find ways to just implement this into Pioneer, because I just feel like this is a modern level card. I got this idea from PT Bench, but also this is just a very similar version to what you would see in the 5.0 dumps. Again, not quite sure like what direction. This is like the last kind of iteration that I played with it. I was messing around with just running 2 World Spine Worms. Obviously, normally the combo would be you would just run Xenagos and World Spine Worm. Xenagos would give World Spine Worm plus 15 plus 15 and haste, and that usually like 9 times out of 10 is enough to close out the game. But there's some interesting things going on with some interesting merits to doing this. I will tell you that being able to creativity for 1 and only 1 is kind of a nice thing. Being able to do that, because truth be told, sometimes having a creativity for 2 is a drawback in this deck. When you're running the normal Xenagos version, it feels like the deck can be a little slow. Maybe if you're on the draw against mono green and you don't have enough interaction, maybe your turn too slow. It's just nice. And a lot of times a World Spine Worm on its own, is enough to close out a game most of the time, right? It obviously depends on the deck, depends on what you're playing against. Like if you're playing against Lotus Field, forget about it. But I really do think that there is a little bit more innovation that can be done to these deck lists. And when I say that, I'm talking about indomitable creativity, combos in general, all encompassing, because this is obviously a very powerful Magic card, right? We're seeing it, see a resurgence in play modern. It's obviously started to see a lot of play in Pioneer. There just aren't that many great targets in Pioneer. That is the problem. And World Spine Worm, as of right now, seems to be one of the best targets. Obviously, we've seen the lists that like Aspiring Spikes made with the Magma Opus, is that what this is called? Torrential Gear Hulk version. That version is great. Kudos to him. I think that version probably is one of the best functioning versions. But tonight we're not necessarily looking at playing the best version of Indomitable Creativity. We're just looking to kind of improve on the deck a little bit. And there's, like I said, there's just a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of room for improvement, but who knows? I did want to look. Sometimes I get my sets confused. Is Strike It Rich legal in Pioneer? I was just thinking, oh, we're gonna get all the first strikes and double strikes. Hold on. That's a Modern Horizons 2 card, right? Am I crazy? I would be crazy to think otherwise, right? Clearly a Modern Horizons 2 card. Strike it rich. Type in the whole fucking thing. Jesus Christ. Easy. Yeah, it's Modern Horizons 2. I thought so. You know what would be cool is if this or the crab was legal. Because the other card that makes a crab and a treasure or a clue token is very good, and would be, you know, a huge merit to playing blue in this sort of deck, which I have made a blue version of this deck. It runs, obviously runs Dig Through Time. You guys can't see all of this, but I'll kind of drag it over. Runs Dig Through Time, the big score, Unexpected Windfall. My biggest like complaint about these decks so far is playing against blue-white. Blue-white is such a bad matchup. No deck that you ever play is going to have good matchups across the board unless that deck is bannable. So like, I'm not too stressed about that. I just think that you know, if you get paired against blue-white, you're probably gonna have a bad time. But that being said, you know, I like the Rakdos version. I think it's pretty cool. I'm not really quite sure like what direction like I want to go with it. I want to make it more like how PT Bench had his list, because there is that one list that he 5-0'd with, and he 5-0's with some weird decks sometimes. So you kind of gotta be careful with good Magic players, because sometimes they'll just win with a ham sandwich, and like you'll think a ham sandwich is good, but it's not good. But his list pretty similar to this, but he leaned more into creating tokens. And I don't think I want to lean into that route. Basically, he had like an alternate win con with like just making a bunch of tokens, I think. And I don't really want to go that route with it. I'd rather just play like sort of a traditional list. But it is interesting. It is interesting. I don't know, like I'm torn. Like, part of me wants to stick with the 2 World Spine Worms in the main, because you can simply Indomitable Creativity for 1, X equals 1. It's very powerful, obviously, but the other part of me is like, fuck it. You know, there are times where I'm just like, man, I could win this game if I just had Thenagos in my deck. I think what I'm gonna do, 2 Dreadbores is nice. Truth be told, you don't need a ton of removal in this deck. You really don't. You know, the other versions are playing like, what are they playing? They're playing the 3-drop, the one you discard a card, draw 2 cards, and you make a treasure token. That card's cool. I mean, decent. I'm probably just gonna run with this on. I might bring in another Rotten Reunion. That's probably okay. The other thing I like about World Spine Worm is that when you discard it, you shuffle it into your library. So you can discard it with blood tokens, shuffle it into your library, which is really nice, actually. Really nice draw to the card itself. But yeah, we'll see. I am right now considering cutting a card, maybe a Dreadbore, in favor of another Rotten Reunion, something to that effect. Anything that makes, let's see, what are the other cards that make blood tokens in Pioneer that aren't creatures? Because we can't run creatures or artifacts, so keep that in mind, because you know, a lot of these cards, they might look appealing at first, but then you realize, oh, that's an artifact, right? We can't Indomitable Creativity with an artifact in our deck because it would go get our artifact. You know. But this is a card that sees play in a lot of the lists because it's kind of a mediocre board wipe, but it does create a blood token, right? But yeah, a lot of these spells are simply artifacts, or they just cost way too much. We're not trying to cast anything for more than 3 mana at this point. Like Vampire's Kiss is perfect because it creates 2 blood tokens. 2 tokens is amazing because obviously we want to X equals 2, right? So like that's perfect. That's why I always want to keep, you know, 4 of these in the deck. Maybe I sideboard down to 3 some instance. especially post board when things get a little bit more grindy. You know, the secret's out, your opponent knows what you're doing, that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. Maybe I will run like a single copy of Vampire's Vengeance and take out the Dreadbolt. Or we could cut Strangle. We could cut a copy of Strangle. Vampire's Vengeance. Okay. After all, we do have 2 copies of Dreadbore. That'll be alright. Yeah, let's roll with this. Let's see how this stuff. I don't know how necessary Ob Nixilis is in this deck. Might be unnecessary. I mean, Chandra might honestly be better in a weird roundabout way, right? Because we're not running the double World Spine Worm. The cool thing about Ob is he provides like an alternate sort of angle, gives your opponent something else to think about, where it's like, you know, you're ticking up Ob every turn and your opponent's like, well, I know he wants to Indomitable Creativity, but he's got this Ob Nixilis that's at like 7 loyalty or whatever the case is, but also it creates a token blocker. It's kind of nice. So it's either Ob Nixilis or Chandra. Chandra is cool because she creates 2 tokens. Like the turn after you play her, you could potentially, you have treasure token in play. You could potentially Indomitable Creativity for 2. Is there anything that makes a treasure token for cheap? Like that's not a creature, obviously. That's not a artifact. Anything to ramp us. See, that's one of the main problems with this version of the deck. Target opponent. Okay. That's not gonna. There's Deadly Dispute. That's right. Deadly Dispute makes us to okay. Yeah, so that, I mean, that makes treasure tokens, which is kind of a reason to run another Rotten Reunion, maybe. I love Deadly Dispute. Deadly Dispute's very good. Let's cut a Dreadbore for another Rotten Reunion. Might seem crazy, but I think it's fine. Okay. I think we're good to go. Let's rent the deck. Run it through a league. My leagues so far have been so-so with the deck, but I have had a lot of fun. I will say the deck is a lot of fun to play for sure. And I do think that there is something to the combo. Is it good enough? No, not really, probably, if we're being unbiased and realistic, right? It's certainly no Archon of Cruelty. We certainly don't get that, inherent value of, which is, something to be said about the Torrential Gearhulk version of the deck, because, that version does gain, like when you flash back an Opus, you're creating creatures, you're drawing cards, tapping something that in and of itself gains you value. Even if you deal with the Torrential Gearhulk and the tokens, your opponent still drew cards. Shelton, what up, boy? What's going on, man? I haven't fucking heard from you in a minute. Unfortunately, we're playing some jank today, but hope you're doing good. See, you've been playing some Arena. Saw that you were on Arena the other day. Yeah, we're just playing some Indomitable Creativity and Pioneer. I keep wanting to say Modern, mainly because the stack isn't really in Pioneer. Yeah, I keep looking at this Ob Nixilis and I keep thinking it's probably bad, but you know what? We're gonna play it for science. It's better in the double World Spine Worm version, because like if you get a World Spine Worm into play and you Obnixilis for Casualty X, then you win the game. Then you can dome them for 7. You know, it's lights out at that point. Probably just overkill, really. But in some circumstances, there are some degenerate things you can be doing in Pioneer. Some people like Mono Green are just winning outright. Lotus Field's winning outright. A Phoenix, if they get a turn where they get to temporal trespass you with Galvanic Iteration, they're just winning outright. So there you know, some decks are coming into their own in the format, becoming more refined. We're just waiting on the cards, by the way, guys. Okay, here. Speak and they shall appear. I don't know if I should be running more lands. You know, a lot of the traditional lists are running more lands. I'm running like significantly lower. Or 4 less lands. Other versions, but the curve that I'm playing is also lower. I'm playing a lot less 3-drops than they are. I've also been considering the Titan of Industry version. Like, you know how people are playing like Luca? They're playing Transmogrify. Is it Transmogrify? They're playing that card, but they're getting Titan of Industry, and I'm like, why get Titan of Industry when you can get World Spine? You know what I mean? Like, I understand Titan does multiple things when it enters the battlefield, but like, World Spine Worm just seems so much better. Like, the worm is literally like lights out in a lot of scenarios. So I might make a version of like Titan of Industry where it's like that shell of the deck, but we essentially put World Spine Worm in place of the Titan, because I have a theory, and I'm probably wrong, but I have a theory that that the worm is better than the Titan. And while I'm waiting, I'm gonna pull it up. We have time. I was looking at fight picking decks earlier. Some degenerate. Let's see. Titan of Industry. I think that's what it's called, right? Yeah. Pioneer. Yeah, so this is a perfect example. I'll join this in a second. It's a perfect example. Like, this deck, cheating into play a Titan of Industry, right? Why not cheat into play a World Spine Worm? Doing good, man. Just started playing again a couple weeks ago. Was surprised how everything clicked after 3 years gone. Yeah, it's like riding a bike, right? Well, it's good you're back. Obviously things have changed a little bit, but if you're playing modern, like, I mean, I was afraid, like, I took a break after COVID. Like, when COVID hit, I sold all my cards, and when I moved up to Pennsylvania, I sold everything. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna... Man, it's kind of awkward, isn't it? Land's coming to play tapped. I might mulligan this, just like the tapped lands. Here we go. Sure. Let's put back Fable, because we have 3 of them. Anyway, so I sold my collection, and I was like honestly considering quitting Magic for Hearthstone. I know that's like the fighting words, but it's true. I was thinking about quitting, and I bought back in early this year, and I started playing again, and I was like intimidated. I was playing Cube, I was playing Limited a lot, and I was intimidated because I was like, man, like, I haven't played Modern in so long, like, people are gonna whip my ass, you know what I mean? I was scared to play. Fuck is this, dude? What the fuck is this? This is like some blue-black control list with bad mana. They must be playing a third color, right? Certainly. Anyway, so I don't really care about any of these cards. I'll just take Invoke Despair. Anyway, so I came back, and I was worried that I was gonna be like terrible and stuff like that. And after like a few leagues, it's like you said, you know, it just kind of clicked. Kind of figured it out after that. It's fine. You're a tenacious underdog. The good thing about this deck is you really just don't give a fuck about what your opponent's doing in a lot of ways. I know they're gonna kill my dude, but hey, out there, Catter, Griffin. But yeah, I guess to close out my point, like, I'm having one of the best years. Not even one of. I am having the best year I've ever had playing that. Period. It's not even close. pretty sweet. I want to take the, I mean, I guess I can thought seize them again. This is a free discard right here. Rotten Reunion. Discard. Draw. Guess let's thought seize them. This. I want to take their eliminate. I guess kinda. Yeah, I'll take eliminate. Play this Fable. And then at this point, we're basically only waiting for a Indomitable Creativity. And opponent's mana is bad, so they have to choose between playing the Celestis, which I assume they're going to do. They do have one unknown. They play Tenacious Underdog, so they're just in the beats. And not a bad draw. Suppose I'm discarding this. We just literally drew another one. That's we do have this cool little thing going where we could potentially just start making copies of Goblin Shaman tokens, so that's this dies, they oh, it's the blitz. If they blitz it, draw a card, right, when it dies. Playing mostly limited and historic. Probably won't play paper unless there's nearby events. Worthwhile. Listen to you on the Paper Player podcast. Congrats. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, that was a good one. Not only was it a good podcast, but it was also a good event to win. Obviously happy to get an RCQ invite this early, but also, you know, it's just we're gonna exile this with Rotten Reunion, by the way. It's just nice to you know, get a little bit more validation. So far this year, the significant things that have happened is I've won 2 challenges, one in Legacy, one in Modern, and then I won the RCQ, and I've just gotten a lot more recognition than before. Which is nice because it's kind of like just that validation, you know. But I also have just realized some. Oh, they treasure crew. They had just enough. Okay. Opponent's cheating. They're playing good cards. Anyway. It's nice because I realized some things that I was doing wrong, and I'm glad that I finally realized it. Basically, I guess what I'm getting at. I think I'm gonna pass, and I think I'm just gonna instep make a bunch of reflections, since we have this is what we're doing now. Basically, our opponent did draw a bunch of cards. Hopefully they didn't draw a board wipe, but we know they have the Celestis. That's one card we know they have. Wouldn't be surprised if they shocked and had something to play here. 2 spells. That's fine. The good news is if we draw an Indomitable Creativity at any time, we just win. It's cool. This can't block, right? That's fine. I'll take 3. A lot of boys. Suppose I could have made another one, huh? I want to discard Rotten Reunion. Sure, I guess so. Right. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not pitching lethal here. This draw card. Let's attack with our copies here. We're gonna block one. We hit them for 4. I want to go ahead and fire Prophecy now, just so that way I can exile this. Just get it out of the battlefield. I think maybe I'll just keep this Fire Prophecy because this is gonna flip if I don't cast a spell. Not the best turn. Have a fatal push, yeah. So I want to copy that in response. Could. Just to leave up a blocker for this. I don't want to waste my treasure token. There's a possibility that I may want to target it with Indomitable Creativity if I draw it. It's a close game. It's closer than I thought it would be. Treasure Cruise tends to do that. I was thinking about making a joke secret layer today. I still might, featuring all of the colors Treasure Cruise. Like the black Treasure Cruise was literally all of them were going to be the same CMC and Delve. And the black Treasure Cruise was going to be target opponent discards 3 cards. Do this, they attack for 3, they exile. It's fine. But anyway, I was gonna do like red could like make deal like 5 damage or something like that, and then like I'm trying to think of like what would be the equivalent in all colors. Like I feel like green would be like make 3 3/3s or something. That's all they good, maybe. We cycle this. Okay. That's unfortunate. This is gonna transform. I mean, I could cast Strangle just to keep it from transforming. I have lethal on board. Fortunate. All right, maybe one of these days we'll draw an Indomitable Creativity and we'll just win. Opponent sacrifice creature. Creature. Go to 2, and then we have to block this, so that's fine. This has to exile creatures to. Still alive, barely. Alright, one time. Indomitable Creativity, and we win. Fable of the Mirror Breaker does not do it, but I'll cast it just to cast it, I guess. Fairly certain we lose. Our opponent has 5 cards in hand. We just did not draw the card. All right. Anyway, luckily we play a bunch of sideboard cards for these types of decks. 2 go blanks should be fine. I don't need Vampire's Vengeance in this matchup. I like the Rotten Reunions for the copies of Tenacious Underdog if they keep those in. Anger of the Gods might be decent against them, truth be told. Just because it hits a lot of their creatures. I like the go blanks, obviously. They're playing Treasure Cruise and things like that. Pop Nixilis just kind of hits from a different angle. So I could probably actually take out Fire Prophecies. I think I'm going to go the World Spine Worm, the double worm route this match. I think I am going to bring in a couple Anger of the Gods, be the control deck here. And probably cut a Rotten Reunion. I don't know how. I mean, this is pretty heavy on 3 drops, but might be okay. Suppose Fire Prophecy is kind of just as good as Fatal Push here. Close. Sure. Lands and spells. I like it. Sold out. Yeah. Matthew's dragging you back in, huh? Well, that's how it be sometimes. I'm going to just shock. They're not really pressuring my life total too much in this matchup. If I can Rotten Reunion on turn 1, then that's super ideal. Yeah, that's how it be, man. People just kind of drag you back in. Play ball. Oh, it's up to 1. Damn it. Fucked up already. You don't have to exile a card. I did not realize that. So we would have a Deadly Dispute this turn. Boys, read that. Okay. Guess I Reunion now. It's a reasonable draw, but get me anything. I mean, I can sacrifice it. Maybe I'll just play Fable here. Cool thing that one of the cool things you can do is you can attack with the zombie token, and then you can just like Deadly Dispute it prior to the sacrifice trigger on Decayed. You can get in a little cheap 2 damage in here and there. I attack with this and just block, honestly. We will discard a Deadly Dispute. Tell me they don't have any removal in their hand. No removal for this guy. Find that very interesting. Maybe they're playing like Sinister Sabotage or something. We'll make a Devil to have a blocker up. Can always Deadly Dispute it if they okay, they're just gonna kill the other one. Makes sense. Eliminate's an interesting card. kind of recognition are you getting at that wasn't present before? So a few things. I don't want to get like too into. I mean, I talked about this a little bit during the podcast that you had listened to, but one of the big things that I realized was that I wasn't prioritizing sleep enough in my initial like run at competitive Magic. I didn't realize how important it was to get like a full 8 hours of sleep, especially when I was playing more grindy, more tedious decks with like larger decision trees. Another thing, what the fuck? Another thing, I didn't realize how important it was to eat like clean for events and stuff like that. But even then, like I sort of understood those things, but not like fully. But with that, I also learned to trust my intuition more. When I first started playing Magic, I feel like I had a stronger sense of intuition. And I think as the years grew, for some reason, I just lost a lot of that player's intuition. I just kind of like was acting more, I guess, on throwing caution to the wind, if you will. Like, I'll give you an example. Like right now, you know, my opponent could have any number of things. I don't really know what they're playing. I'm not going to even try to guess what they're holding in their hand. But if I was playing against a meta deck, right, and I knew that this meta deck had played like 4 sensors, right, then, and I had a strong sense that my opponent had sensor in their hand, now I act on that intuition every single time. Unless I can't win otherwise, right? Unless I just have to go for it. And I mean really have to go for it. But like now I act on that intuition every time. I won't play a card. I just literally won't. Because to me, like, I now realize that intuition is literally just knowing the highest likelihood of like what's there. If that, and before I didn't pay enough attention to that. Like I really just didn't I didn't give it enough attention, and I definitely should have. Because quite frankly, you know, these are the things that make us better players, and I just, yeah, I could have did a lot more, I feel like. And I did this a lot when I first started playing Magic. I don't know why I let it go, but I just did. And yeah, you know, you live and you learn. But now I trust that intuition every time. I was playing against Brian Koval actually in that tournament that you had talked about, and one of the big things in that tournament was my opponent, Brian Koval, had what I assumed was a subtlety in his hand, right? And I had an option to play an Omnath on curve, or I could play a shitty copy of Knight of Autumn for no reason other than to just put counters on it, right? He had like 2 cards in hand or something like that, but I knew in my mind, I was like, he has a subtlety. So what did I do? I opted to play the shitty play instead of playing the optimal play, right? And he subtletied it because he devoted the mana and the time to do it, you know, so he was going to subtlety any creature that I played. So I just bottomed it, and the next turn I played Omnath and I played my land and I did my thing, right? You know, and it's like things like that that just, you know, sort of it's just like invaluable to play optimally when you know what your opponent is holding, you know, and you have that keen sense. So I should have been doing that before, but you get better, you learn. You have 2 cards in hand. Isn't Legacy of Riddlesmith? Dude, you don't want to see me play that deck, okay? Here's the thing. I like to play decks before I stream them because I don't want to make a fucking fool of myself, okay? I do not want to make a fool of myself. I might just, honestly, I think I'm just gonna go blank them this turn. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like I feel like I just the correct play. Especially considering like they have like Aether Gust and shit. See what they discard here. Invoke Despair and Vraska's Contempt. So I would say those are probably pretty good hits. Let's just pass the turn. Oh, we're in a good spot here. Attack with these two dudes again. Copy this. Just block with it. Save some damage here. I'll coach you through it. Yeah, I definitely need some of that because I've looked at the deck list and I generally understand what's going on, but like I have no. I'm not a good Storm player, and I'll be the first to admit that. So like I literally just need to like learn essentially how that whole thing plays out. So I think I just do this for one here. Then we just copy the worm and we just copy. Get them, boys. I mean, they're not dead, but they're dead. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They're dead. The only difference between me and Killabee's list is he likes Throsta, I like Mentor. I don't like Throsta either. Our main boards are basically the same. Well, that's good. It's good you guys have a fundamental agreement on like what's good. That means the deck is actually evolving the right hands and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't like Throsta. I like Mentor more. I think Mentor is easier to play probably, right? Throsta is like, I don't know, like it just depends, I guess, on what kind of hate your opponent is bringing in. I'll be honest, I don't know what the fuck my opponent's doing, dude. I don't know what they're doing. They're playing that fucking card that explores and shit. I have no idea. I guess because they're playing more creatures, I'll cut my Chandra, but it just seems like a bunch of random cards. I guess Fatal Play. I haven't seen a single Planeswalker. Mentor leaving fine one or two something. Yeah, especially in Legacy, right? Legacy is so like devolved. I mean, you know, look no further than just looking at like, is it Delver lists, and you realize just how fucking devolved Legacy is. What do we want to bottom here? We want to bottom go blank. I do like the prospects of clearing the way before I guess we have everything we kind of want in our hands, so there's no real need for Deadly Dispute, I suppose. Modern is Legacy Light. Yeah, basically, before Accountant. I mean, at this point it is. You can only print so many free spells before, you know, the format just starts to look like the other format, right? I mean, before it was like there were no free spells, and now we're sitting with an abundance of them. So they like that Tenacious Underdog, boy. They're fucking running hot with that thing. Guess we can just Dreadbore this thing and set up a go blank turn. Probably not too bad. Can't wait for more free spells in Modern Horizons 3. Yeah, completely agree. Like, it's like they never learn, right? They just keep fucking doing it. All right, I don't think my opponent's playing Censor. I hope not. I hope they're not playing Counter Magic in their weird creature deck. All right, they discard 2 Invoke Despairs. Probably have a land and 2 actual spells, or 2 lands and a spell. Gonti, Lord of fucking Luxury. Let's go. Look at the top 4 cards. Exile one of them face down. I could Soken's on, but I'm not going to do that. because they're playing removal. I don't want to run into a removal spell with this Indomitable Creativity. That's one reason why I like this deck. Oh, god damn it. Alright, turn off auto yields because we're about to have to pitch this swamp. Sick. Okay. Actually, you know what? Should have saved that for the hive. Do I want to play the Soken'Zan? I guess not. I guess I'll keep it. I do worry. You worry about a go blank. Yeah, I guess I'll play it. That way, I suppose if they go blank me, it's less appetizing, but also like at least like live with it. Interesting that they're not hiving. Why wouldn't they activate hive? You know what I mean? Tell you what, I don't like that. I'm gonna play this. Feel like we got an Aether Gust on our hands. If they're gusting me, probably gonna top this. Negate. Okay, perfect. Even better. So we played around. This is what I'm talking about, you know, believing your intuition, right? We knew something was fishy. Our opponent could have easily attacked us with hive. They didn't. They're still not doing it. It might be holding another negate, but I'm not playing around it this time. They have negate this time. But, you know, I'm going to assume it's like Aether Gust or something. Are they drawing a card? That's great. It's perfect. Go ahead. You do that. Okay. They do play Aether Gust, though, so they have a way to deal with the worm. Can't wait to have to rebuy and rebuild my modern deck when MH3 comes out. I hear you. Are they drawing a card on main phase? Oh. Okay, they're gonna. Oh, okay. Got a little something for us. We got one card in hand. All right, we need another Fable or something to get on board. For that would be the best draw. That's not it. That ain't it, Chief. This anger looks embarrassing now. Yeah, like we already know that Modern Horizons 3 is gonna be some degenerate shit. Like I mean, I'm probably burning all bridges here, but like WotC has kind of proven that they are incapable of making anything like remotely enjoyable anymore when it comes to, especially in the 3-drop slot. Like I don't know what it is, what aversion the R&D team has to 3 mana, but they can't seem to get it right. Oko, fucking Uro, goddamn what's the other fucking card that printed? I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank right now after my rant, but you guys get the idea. I don't understand why, but can't seem to. I guess now the evoke creatures are pretty egregious too, but lately it just seems like everything is sort of by the wayside when it comes to actually testing and playing cards. That sucks. They tenacious underdogged for Blitz. It's interesting. Do that. Okay. I feel pretty far behind at this point. It's weird how Treasure Cruise does that. At this rate, anything sucks. Oh, did they pitch underdog to? Yeah, that's probably what they did, right? That makes more sense. I may like revisit this deck. I may lean more on the Titan of Creativity version or whatever. We'll go that route. I think that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. Oh my god, dude. I just want to say for reference, we're playing 20 lands plus the what do you call it? Plus the Valakut Rebirth or whatever it's called. So we've gone through a lot of lands here. Just want to point that out. I'm gonna concede because this is no longer enjoyable and my opponent is not attacking with Hive, which means that they probably just have answers for days. Let's take a look at this. Take a look at this real quick. I want to look at what it would look like if a big baller over here just fucking dropping from the league after he loses one match. Oh, I lost one match. I'm not gonna trophy. Time to drop. I gotta give 2 fucks about trophies at this point. Anyway, so all right, so this is a Titan of Creativity deck. I want to mess around with this. I'm gonna fucking here drag some stuff over real quick. So this is why I have interest in this deck. This has a very similar feel and make of the Palak form of the a deck that I was just playing. This one. And I feel like the two can really be like kind of interchangeable. I just hate Titan of Creativity. I'm not gonna fucking lie. The card is, to me, it seems bad. You don't outright win with it. Like, you outright win with World Spine Worm like 9 times out of 10. The 1 out of 10 times being when your opponent is packing cards like Vraska's Contempt in 2022, right? But like, I feel like this card is better than Titan of of Industry, is it not? Is that crazy? I mean, like, it just seems like it, right? So like, what if my idea is like, what if we just do this shit right here? World, like, I know this card is castable and World Spine Worm is not, but like, because when World Spine Worm hits the graveyard, it shuffles. Obviously, Kahira has to go. Boo-hoo, you know, who cares? That card sucks. But, what if we just did like World Spine Worm, kind of still keep the same makeup of the deck? I don't really understand this. I'll be honest with you. I don't understand Voltage Surge. I guess because you can sacrifice an artifact to it. But what do you sacrifice? You can sacrifice an artifact. There's no good artifacts to sacrifice, is there not? Like, what's that one card? You know what I really would like? I would like a can run fucking Obnixilis in this list, right? Makes more tokens. Makes sense. In fact, I like a couple of Obnixilis. I've seen lists in the past play Obnixilis. I'm surprised this one isn't, because it is playing black. Let's see. Jun mid-range. This was in July. This one plays 2 Obnixilis. So this one is playing Dreadbores. They're also playing Voltage Surge, so they're probably just right. They're on 4 Titan of Industry. I don't think we need to go that far. I think 3 is probably the most I'll play for the Worm. They're on Void Winnower, which I have gotten wrecked by this card before, so I can understand why they're playing it. But yeah, they're not playing Indomitable Creativity. They're playing Transmogrify, which is probably just more reliable. I mean, it's essentially the same, but you have to target a creature, which is well, I guess it's a little bit less reliable. Because when you Transmogrify a creature, your opponent can respond by killing it. So that's a little rough. That is one thing I don't like about this deck. If I could pick any gripe, I would say that. But you do have Luca. So you can kind of keep trying. But we'll see. We'll see. 61 cards. We gotta cut something. Conjur's not necessary. Mizzy and Mortars is interesting. 24 lands. The other was on 23 with 2 copies of Valakut Awakening. I don't think we need to go that far. I think one is fine. 4 Thoughtseize. They played 3. That seems wrong. Strangle over Dreadbore. Hit or miss. 4 Fables, obviously. How good is Mizzy and Mortars? Is it necessary? I mean, this is basically our 2-drop, right? So, like, the curve actually looks something more similar to, like, this. It's actually more reasonable. What's that one card that gives a creature... I mean, it's probably overkill, right? But, like, there's a card that gives a creature haste. You can, like, buy it back or something like that. Jumpstart, that's what it is. I mean, that's the mechanic anyway. I think there's a dash in between. There's like a card that gives him haste. Yeah, maximize velocity. Give our World Spine Worm haste with velocity. Seems playable. I mean, I don't know what matchup we're bringing Rurik Thar in. Probably not necessary anymore, right? Like, I mean, I know it's for control, and you can actually cast Rurik Thar, which is probably pretty decent. Am I just gonna take like the lazy way out and just like literally just go card for card and just replace two or 3 cards? Probably. I mean, this is the most recent 5-0, July 25th. So like their mana base is very similar. Fuck it, let's get a couple of I think maybe I'll cut. I like Fire Prophecy because you can shuffle the worm into your deck. You know, that's not a card that you really get to I mean, obviously you don't get to play this. You don't have as much discard in this deck. So like having a Fire Prophecy to shuffle, and we actually probably need maybe one more. It's Mizzy and Mortars and a Fire Prophecy. Boom. Okay, so person's playing Dreadbore. Do you like Dreadbore or Strangle? Strangle is kind of nice on curve. It answers elves more efficiently, like when our opponent's playing like Llanowar elves and shit. I think I'm pretty close to being done with this. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Unlicensed Hearse is fine. I'm thinking of Indomitable Creativity. Yeah, the cool thing about this list is you can play artifacts, which is kind of nice, right? I'm still unsure about this card. I guess you can hit Planeswalkers with it, which is kind of nice, but like, what the fuck, man? Like, what are you sacrificing to this? Your briefcase? Seems odd. Yes, you can sacrifice treasures to it as well, but I'll trust what other people are doing. I'm not gonna question it, I suppose. Yeah, let's cut these Strangles for Dreadbores. What the other list is doing. And they're playing 1 Chandra, 1 Luca. Yeah, we're pretty spot on their list. 3 Blood Crypt, 1 Beseiju. Don't need Castle Garenbrig. Glad I caught that before I fucking back. We don't need. Let's do Beseiju. Yeah, 1 Beseiju. They're playing Den of the Bugbear. Seems a little odd. I'll tell you what. I like their list. They're playing fucking Mana Confluence, boy. They're on it. They're like, I don't give a fuck about burn, dude. Mana Confluence. God damn. No copies of Proving Grounds. 4 Stomping Grounds. No Veils. Stomping Ground. 4 copies. They are playing an Herb Order, which makes sense to me. They're also playing a Den of the Bugbear. Now, one I don't really understand, I'll be honest with their list, is Lair of the Hydra. It seems like with this many man lands, you're sort of asking to get you're sort of asking to miss a perfectly timed World Spine Worm, but we'll see. I don't need to play Castle Garen Brig because we're never casting Forest Swamp Mountain. What is their issue with these? They don't like these lands for some reason. Swamp. Forest. Almost done, guys. Thank you for being patient. I appreciate it. Dealing with my old man rants over here. Mountain. Sick. And then let's get an Overgrown Tomb in here. I think I'm good. Actually, I want an Overgrown Tomb. I have a very painful mana base. I'm just going to do another Darkpour pathway. I just know with like a mana base like this, I'm going to get paired up with like Burn or something like that. Oh, speaking of which, we got one more sideboard slot. 3 Rending Volley makes sense to me. Some people are running Extinction Event, which seems a little aggressive. I like Anger of the Gods. 3 Void Winnows. Ooh. I mean, I guess. This person is opting to play Rorick Thar over Void Winnower. I like Void Winnower. We're a combo deck. And play one more Hearse. All right, let's get this deck. Let's rock and roll. Void Winnower is cool because you can just like board out of the worms, I guess, and you can just against control. I feel like control is just a rough matchup for this deck, honestly. If you play against blue-white control, you're gonna have a hard time because like they just have so many answers, and even if you stick a World Spine Worm, it's kind of like not enough. So like I guess Void Winnower is a way to like they can't really easily answer Void Winnower because they can't Supreme Verdict it, they can't Farewell, they can't get Teferi Tuck it, but I guess it just limits the amount of answers that they could possibly have, I suppose, is the thought process there. I'm gonna run a Chandra. Let's see. Maybe it's not necessary. Awakened Inferno. Either that or maybe that's fine. Void Winnowers. Let's see. This is a one of. That's cool. There it is. Boom. We got our cards. Let's rent the deck. I guess we're not creativity anymore, huh? We're playing a different deck. Got to change the title on my stream, huh? I got to add more mods. If you're interested in being a mod, I guess now is the time. I've never asked this before, but if you are interested in mod duties, you frequent the stream, you are more than welcome, as long as you're a trustworthy individual. I think most of you are. I'd like to think that built somewhat of a community of decent folk that wouldn't harm me in any way. But yeah, if you're interested, just let me know. Obviously I don't expect you to be on all the time or nothing, but if you're around, it obviously helps. Oh, I've 61 cards. Easiest cut is probably a Dreadbore. Or wait, no, I have an extra land. That's what it is. I pay attention. I pay attention to stuff. All right. This time we'll actually run through our league. We won't 0-1 drop. Yeah, let me change the stream. I'm not going to change it on my Facebook. Rakdos. You know what? Rakdos World Spineworm. That's basically what this is. I didn't come here to do anything else. Just get this bad boy into play. This is probably not the biggest creature in Magic, huh? I think that belongs to the other worm. There's like Indomitable Worm or something like that. What is the biggest creature in Magic? Is it this guy? Impervious Great Worm. That's what it's called. I mean, this one is his head is the size of a city. It reminds me of that SpongeBob episode where it's like, it was an Alaskan bullworm. You know what I'm talking about? Palaka Worm looks pretty fucking huge too. Hang on. Palaka Worm looks enormous. I actually had a standard deck with Palaka Worm in it, and Barry Thompson wrote an article about it. It was at the turn of whatever set this got reprinted in. I know it's been reprinted a bunch of times. I think it might have been M19, but I made a Jund ramp deck with Palaka Worm as the win con. Like, people were ranting and raving about that for a couple weeks. It trophied, like, it was like Mono Black Zombies was like the big deck, and I played against it like 3 times, and I was playing like 4 copies of fucking Hour of Devastation, so it was a very easy trophy, and it proved absolutely nothing. But it was a cool card. It was very fun to cast. Definitely not a bad one to run in your sideboard if you expect a lot of burn. I mean, I don't want to attack too much with this deck. I've never tested it, but I mean, comes into play, gains you 7 life. They're never getting rid of it. You could just sack it with Obnixilis or something and just fucking dome them. We're waiting on the cards right now. They're on the way. 77%. Yeah, we'll give this list a shot. I'm interested. This has been something that I'm glad I remembered because it's been kind of floating around in my head for a little bit. Been meaning to try this this version of the deck. The mana base kind of concerns me a little bit, but I'm not going to let my thoughts get too clouded. I just really want to feel if the deck is more reliable than its Indomitable Creativity counterpart. Maybe this is the direction that you want to go with it, you know? Could be reasonable. I think if you're not playing Xenagos, this is probably better. My first impression, anyway. Okay, let's roll. so let's get into it. Let's get our first match going. I mean, really, this is not an innovation in any way, shape, or form. I just literally cut Titan of Industry for World Spine Worm, which I'm sure is not the first time someone's ever thought of this, but like, I don't know, it just seems better, right? And Seeka's Chariot can copy your worm, because that's definitely going to become relevant at some point. Thought of everything, chat. He's thought of it all. Deck has no flaws. I think people are playing. At first, I was always seeing these in people's sideboard, and I was like, "What the fuck is this for?" Like, Spirits is not that popular. Like, surely, like this spell can't be like that good that you need 3 copies of it. But then I realized like Mono White Humans is seeing like a big uptick in play. Thank you, baby. Not. Oh, it was already open. Thank you. I was about to say not 2 of them. Damn, like not double fist and Diet Cokes. In case you got a real quench. But yeah, then I started seeing more up and uptick of Mono White Humans, and it kind of makes the deck is scary if they curve out really fast. They can whoop your ass very quickly. Dirtle around and don't do anything. So against that deck, I would usually just cut the Thoughtseizes, bring in the Rending Volleys, the Anger of the Gods. Probably cut like some number of Obnixilis is probably unnecessary in that matchup. Yeah, that's pretty good. Does no one want to fight the worm? I guess you could cast World Spine Worm. It's not impossible. You had like a Castle Garenbrig and, you know, 5 other mana. That would be, you'd have to have 10 lands in play. It's not insane. Game goes super long. Or you could just have 2 Castle Garenbrigs in play, and then you would need the same amount of lands. So I'm stupid. I think anyway. This hand, I'm gonna keep it. I think I'll probably end up throwing back this Thoughtseize with Fire Prophecy unless I draw a World Spine Worm. But we'll see. Hopefully my opponent is on some. If they're not, sad. Oh, there's a chance. Okay, they're probably on red black. Through Transmogrify, that's good. Combo. Feels like a Thoughtseize now, but necessary. I don't want to crack this just to Thoughtseize. It goes. I could. I mean, if they tap out this, I could Transmogrify. Okay, never mind, I lied. Just kidding. Oh, hey. That was a good one to get off the top of my library. Mono red, I guess. Goodbye, Thoughtseize. Interesting. Raw. I would love to cast Transmogrify this turn. Can't. Guess I plus. Do I tick up? Do I Fire Prophecy first? Up first, huh? Okay, we exiled Beseiju, so no. Let's Fire Prophecy. Let's pitch Thoughtseize here. Dock this. So now we're kind of approaching from like two different angles, so that's good. Like we have two things going on here. Right, that's scary, kind of. Okay. It's overkill, but I mean, you know, it's a thing. I mean, I mean, we can transmogrify. I'm just thinking. I mean, we can transmogrify, keep up black, you know, exile. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. All right, transmogrify. It's just kind of weird. Like, I don't want to. I think I want to Obnixilis first. I think I'll wait. We'll just do this. Hopefully they don't kill my creature in response. That would suck, but they do have 2 cards in hand. Okay, cool. Good. Everything's right in the world. I think we're okay. I think we win. Yeah. World Spine Worm. World Spine Worm. Okay. Got the Thoughtseizes. Ending Volley does us no good here. Honestly think the rest is fine. We may be okay with like 2 Thoughtseizes. Is Anger worth it? They are playing a larger number of creatures these days. They're playing whatever the red devotion creature is. They're playing that thing. Maybe this is a matchup where I like kind of don't care if I'm taking 2 damage from Thoughtseize, so long as it gets something out of their hand. Because like once the jig is up, they kind of realize like, oh, all I have to do is just remove the creatures, right? So Obnixilis is kind of weird. I will bring in the Angers just because I do feel like they are necessary. And we do have a decent amount of removal going on here. Chariot is a great blocker. Don't have to rush it too much. I think we're okay. We have a hand that is reasonable. Not the greatest, but does lack that early interaction. This hand might be one of those ones I should have tossed back. They're going ham these days. Bugbear doesn't very far, but the cool thing is they kind of can't like tap out next turn. I guess I could always kill my creature with monkey, but I suppose I could have mana conflict. But if I'm going to go for the transmogrify play, so I'll let them attack. Oh, they're wising up. Do we just play Mountain and then Anger Neck this turn? I think so. Another carries of. Well, I'll gladly pay 1 life to that. Far so good. Okay. 2 cards in hand, so this could be good for me. Rest, or do we I'll do rest just to get them down to 1 card, I think. So they have Bone Crusher Giant and Ember Cleave. Pick the Ember Cleave. All right, what could you possibly at this point? Apparently nothing. All right, well this version of the deck seems to be smoother. My fear of getting ran over by mono red was a non-issue, apparently, at least in those 2 games. It would appear that my opponent just had a hard time dealing with a 15/15 trample on turn 3. That is one cool thing about this card that I must say has been, oh, and Courier's Briefcase, I guess. So this version of the deck is actually faster than previous versions due to the green. So that is something to write home about, and this wouldn't be made possible if it weren't for I guess you could always do Careful Cultivation, but you couldn't do Courier's Briefcase and Indomitable Creativity, so that's interesting. What, like, see, like Titan of Industry, I just want to see, like, in that situation that we were just in, would Titan of Industry also gotten a concession out of my opponent? I mean, probably. We gain 5 life and we make a Rhino token, I would assume. Probably enough for a concession there still. So maybe the worm is just overkill, but I don't know. All right, match 2. Seems bad. We're definitely gonna chip this one back. This one's a lot better. Keep this, I think, and just bottom the worm. Our forest and say go. Playing against Burn again. What the fuck is going on, man? Did Burn do something recently, or are people just fuck it? It's late. Oh, shit. We can play a Chandra next turn. It's kind of cool. Typing furiously, like, what deck plays Courier? All right, how many Burning Tree Emissaries did you? That makes this Chandra kind of awkward. Shock and Thoughtseize them. I don't want to like Chandra minus and then lose my Chandra to, I know, bad, right? Taking a lot of damage here, but potentially saving myself with some long run. Okay, well, their hand kind of sucks. They need a land, that's for sure. I guess I could take Monastery Swift Spear. Then all they have is Lightning Strike and Fanatical Firebrand, and then like whatever they draw. Definitely need a definitely need some action soon though. I can't just keep like sitting back and not doing anything, eating damage. Definitely not a winning strategy here. Oh, well, there goes that creature. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna lose my Chandra. Guess I won't shock. Suppose there's no real merits to playing any lands in particular. So we just get rid of this. Gonna lose the Chandra. One unknown. Just gonna. Okay, that makes sense. Good. And I can kill this. Then I'm definitely in desperation mode. Pretty much dead, right? I don't know how you come back from this anyway, but like, so 3, 7, yeah, it got me. We just simply were not getting there. Not at any point in time. Okay. Well, we just played this matchup, so I guess we'll just bring in the same stuff. Obnixilis still is very questionable in this matchup. I don't necessarily think it's needed, but it does create a blocker. There is that. It's possible that Thoughtseize is just better. I do think like once you get a World Spine Worm in play in this matchup, it's probably game over. So maybe Thoughtseize is just better. We'll give it a shot. Normally I would not keep Thoughtseize in a burn matchup, but obviously this is a little bit of a different deck. So the matchup gets approached a little differently. Because the thing about Transmogrify and Luca is that it is disruptible by removal, and they kind of just play a deck full of that. Alright, this hand is unkeepable, so we will ship it. This is a little bit better, a little slow. But I suppose I can keep that. I like the Boseiju. I could see between Stomping Ground and Boseiju for me. I like the Boseiju, but I'm gonna tuck that one. I'll just shock Overgrown Tomb to rest them. Okay. Their hand is kind of slow this time around, so that's good. Right. Briefcase would have been perfect. Oh. Their card to go ahead and do this. I was gonna say the nice thing is we can just answer Karizev with Chandra, so that's cool. But they drew another creature, so we were giving up her Chandra. And I think I'm just gonna see here. All right, I'm starting to want cards other than lands. I guess on the plus side, if we draw anything to play to sacrifice with our Transmogrify, then we're in great shape. Opponent has 3 cards. We know about one of them. Haven't done anything else yet. Passing. Okay, we're drawing more lands. That's sick. All right. At this point, if I draw a World Spine Worm, I guess I'll just eat Crow. People still say that? Probably not. Okay. How much that helps me here. Probably still dead, but give it a shot. Especially if they go land Torbrand. If they go land Torbrand, we're dead. Three cards in hand. One of them's a Torbrand. The other 2 are not lands. Three, 4, put us at 1. We're dead to virtually anything. We don't block this way. Then we're dead to a monkey. Yeah, I mean, either way, we're in pretty much done for, I think. Really? You have nothing else to do, really? I mean, I guess I have to leave everything untapped, right? So we can double block Karizev. We're just dead to so much, but I, truth be told, don't know how I'm not dead already. Unless they're holding like a hand with like Chandra. Maybe they drew more Torbrand. Maybe that's it. Okay, they have Torbrand now. They have Torbrand mana. Oh, wait, I'm just dead anyway, right? Because they can just attack with Karizev. And we died to, like, Ragavan. Yeah. We're just a little too late. I mean, we had the win, basically. But we're just a little too late. Whiffed on draws for too much. Maybe that's, like, a good indicator that we need to be playing, like, yet another Fire Prophecy and potentially cut a land for a Valakut Awakening. I mean, I don't really think we're winning a game against Burn where we're casting Valakut Awakening, but there's always the possibility. I don't feel like I'm playing too many lands. I think 25 is probably fine, 25, but who knows? Also, maybe Void went better than Old Spine Worm in that matchup. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this hand looks fucking dope. Although I will say it's a little awkward. I have to play Mana Confluence first. I want to play this Den of the Bugbear on taps. Weird, because I'm about to take 3 damage. Hope we're not playing Burn 3 times in a row. That would be... Okay. Alright, well that kind of sucks. They have double Thoughtseize, so let's take one of them. Yeah, I'm curious to see what our red-black matchup looks like. I'm not quite sure. I do think if they Thoughtseize me, they probably just take Chariot, I would assume. Yep. Yeah, ultimately, I think you think about it for a little bit and land on the conclusion that Chariot is the best. We have two payoffs. Excuse me, we have two enablers. If you take one, we still have another. Chariot is kind of obvious. Suppose either way you cut it doesn't really matter too much what we do here. I'll play the briefcase though. And they drew another untapped land, so that's good for them because they can Crusher Giant on curve. Makes it a little awkward for me. I just drew the best possible draw in that scenario. But next turn we win. That's cool. Maybe I should have played that on. Well, no, because if they're gonna Graveyard Trespasser, it really doesn't fucking matter. Yep, that's fine. Don't care. Yep, we win. Kind of late for that, don't you think? Nope. True. Oh, I almost fucking sacrificed my briefcase. I need to do it. Your go, sir. Yeah, this is a circumstance in which I feel like Titan wouldn't have necessarily gotten there, whereas like World Spine Worm, it gets there, you know what I'm saying? Like, this motherfucker right here, not a joke. They have two unknowns. It just concede. Yeah, I don't blame you. You know, I don't really know if Void Winnower is worth bringing in this matchup. I think World Spine Worm honestly is enough to deal with what they're doing. I do think probably the extra answers in the form of Duress is probably good. I don't necessarily want to be one for wanting them, but I do think like there is something to be said about taking their removal. Don't know if I want to bring in Hearse against them. You know, Black-Red kind of it can lull you into this trap of thinking their graveyard actually matters, but in truth, it kind of doesn't. You know, I like that this can hit a Planeswalker because they do play some Planeswalkers, but I mean, Fire Prophecy is just such a bad card. Be damned if necessary to potentially get this out of our hand. I mean, we can always discard it with Fable, but we have to draw Fable. I don't hate Chandra here. Kind of get us out of a jam. We got careful considerations. Cut a Prophecy. Let's cut surges. Bring in anger. Duress. And one more duress I want to fit in. Maybe I'll just bring in one anger. That's a tough one because like it really depends on what kind of look they give us. Sometimes they're gonna have hands where they just like open up with like a couple of thought seizes. They're definitely gonna bring in like mind rot and shit, I think, in this matchup. Fortunately, I have to go down to 6. And this is much more of a keepable hand. We're gonna obviously, I keep wanting to call it block worm. World Spine Worm on the bottom. This is an interesting choice. Obviously, we're going to draw more enablers. So it might actually be correct to hit. I think, yeah, I was going to say. I could see either one, honestly. But it also depends on the contents of their hand. Obviously, Fable is the better standalone card. Yeah, I guess we just play Den because we can play it on tapped here. Although, suppose if we shocked, I won't even say what I was thinking. I was saying if I shocked an Overgrown team, I guess I could Sage you if they played Fable, but I suppose it doesn't roll too much. This probably playing into a Fatal Push, but honestly doesn't matter. That is fine. Chariot next turn. Chariot's such a good card. Guess we can throw back Mana Confluence. I don't really need it at this point. My mana's already pretty... Oh, we drew another Mana Confluence. Curse. Let's play Chariot. And Sego. Yeah, I think this is, like, obviously they could have Cull against Command. That would be pretty bad for me, but, like, this card is just very good against red-black, it feels like. Generates 3 creatures, essentially. Potentially more. Seems pretty strong. And they almost have to have explicitly K Command deal with it cleanly. Some of them do play. I don't know how many are playing. I mean, I've seen Misplaced Ginger's list, but I don't even know if he's still on K Command or not. Probably is in some capacity. Three cards. We don't know about any of them. Our hand is pretty decent. I like where I'm at right now. Of the way the general game plan is going. Don't need to be doing anything special. Don't need to be doing anything crazy. Generating value. At this point, I don't think giving them black mana really means much. Saves me some life. Crew. I could potentially sack the blood token here and kill my chariot. I suppose I didn't think about that before I crewed. Not gonna do. I like this. This is cool. Not even doing what my deck is supposed to be doing, and I'm winning. Probably gonna pitch this Overgrown Tomb at this point, but I mean, hey, at this point, I'm just content to just keep swinging. I mean, I have Den of the Bugbear I can queue up next turn. Obviously, I can crew the Chariot again. They didn't have an answer for it last turn. It's kind of a must answer card for them at this, generating too much card advantage. This main phase Blood Token Sacrifice, I think, good sign for me. It's just Shatter Skull Smashing. Yeah, I mean, it's just awkward here because, like, even if they cast it, it's sort of like whatever. Hit one creature. Well, I suppose they would have hit two. I might would have opted for that play instead. It just, yeah, let's hit this hive here. It did not cast Bone Crusher Giant. That was interesting. I'm gonna pitch both of these things here. Just play. Is playing another Fable better than I think it is? Just get all the fucking value off these shits. Through. We have mana for days. Code Diamonds with the raid. What up, my boy? Appreciate it, man. As always, really appreciate it. Respect. If you guys haven't given Code Diamonds a follow yet, definitely need to check that guy out. He is the Abzan guy. Respect to him. And I appreciate it, buddy. We're playing some, once again, playing some jank. Actually, it might not look like it. Looks like we're doing something legitimate right now, but we're not. We're just kind of wrecking our red-black opponent here. What are they, like, at this point, they could have played Bone Crusher Giant, but I think they're just going to activate Castle Lockbane here, which seems terrible.
And look at the sweet prize I won.
Felipe Friere, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. Appreciate it. I think we got this one. So far we've beaten mono red, we've lost mono red, and now we've beaten red black, I guess. That was kind of a bulldozer of a game. All right. This is what we're playing, just in case you guys are curious. We are playing, this is essentially the Titan of Industry deck, but it is playing World Spine Worm instead of Titan. I know it's not very creative, but I'm just curious if World Spine Worm is just a better target. I cut some number of Titans, fit in like extra removal. Obviously have to play Fire Prophecy as a concession to drawing this is kind of bad, but ultimately it seems to be working out. The game I lost to Burn, I kind of I flooded a little bit, and I guess, like, I don't know, we game 2 we got our combo and everything, but then we just didn't, like, we weren't fast enough, which is fine. But like our first match against Burn was awesome. We fucking destroyed them. So I don't know. 3 matches with the deck doesn't really tell me anything. I am paying special attention to when World Spine Worm is strictly better than Titan and strictly worse. Obviously Titan is much more castable, but it doesn't outright win you the game when you get it into play, and World Spine Worm usually wins you the game when you get it into play. So unfortunately we're on the draw here. This hand looks great. Opponent mulligans 6. I am just going to play a Stomping Ground tapped, and might be another red black. Wouldn't be insane to think. Yeah, that's what it looks like. All right, Blood Tithe Harvester, potentially living the dream. Rip. Potentially living the dream next turn, especially if they get a little greedy, which they often do. Play their 3-drop right after. You know, they like to curve out. They don't know what we're on. They just know we're playing some weird Jund deck. Excellent. This is exactly what we want. Exactly what we wanted. So basically, we win the game. Basically. Wanted our opponent to tap out, because if they had left up some sort of removal, then we might be in trouble, but they didn't, so sick. Okay, so play this. We go, Urborg play. And I would argue that this is a situation where what I'm kind of getting at is like Titan of Industry doesn't win us the game here, but this definitely feels like we win this juncture of the game. It's going to be hard to come back from this, right? I mean, I don't know what I like. Maybe like Kalitas. Yeah, it would have to be like land Kalitas, eat a lot of damage, and then what, you know? So like I've been kind of unsure about how to sideboard in this matchup. Like, the Planeswalkers are all good. Ezeka's Chariot is an all-star. I last time cut a Fire Prophecy, and like I think I cut Voltage Surges. I do know they play Planeswalkers, but like I feel like Duress. Normally in a matchup like this, if I was playing like black-red versus black-red, first thing I'm cutting is my Thoughtseize, right? Generally speaking, I think that's a good rule of thumb. If you follow a lot of mid-range masters like Michael Rapp, I think is his name, who plays a lot of Death Shadow, it's the first thing he tells you to do. If you play against like Jund or GDS or something, Mirror, you cut your Thoughtseizes right away. It's not right to keep them. But like since we're playing a combo deck, we kind of need the extra effects. I also brought in Anger last time because Anger is just oftentimes like a 2-for-1 against them. What did I cut? I cut one more card, or maybe I just was playing one Anger. Maybe it was just one. Even though we're the ones kind of going wide, like I'm thinking like worst case scenario, like we're behind and we need to catch up. Because if I'm just 1-for-1ing them all game, like that's not really where I want to be. I suppose like Thought Distortion, I don't hate it, but I don't want to go like too high on the curve or anything like that. Let's cut Valakut Awakening. I haven't really done that yet, but I don't know. Still learning the deck. This seems fine, honestly. I know it looks weird, but like we have a Fire Prophecy. We can always get rid of this Worm. And we have a Fable. The cool thing about Worm is that when you discard it or it gets discarded, you shuffle it. Like that's the cool thing with like Fable and Blood tokens and stuff like that. You can literally just like you can just discard it and like it just gets shuffled in, and you don't have to worry about, you know, A, you don't shuffle your graveyard, but also B, you don't lose your win con. Whereas like if it was a Xenagos and you got Thoughtseized, you're fucked. You lose. Kind of. Yes. I mean, you'd probably still be okay. I'm debating Blood Crypt or I guess Stomping Ground here. Stomping Ground displays that we might have the... It's not channel. What is it? Can't remember the spell that like makes a 1/1. What the effect is called, but yeah. Kind of makes them play around something that we don't have is what I'm getting at. Draw Shock here, or do I just play Darkboard Pathway? I don't really need too much black, but Shock. I sense that my opponent has a handful of answers in their hand, and they don't want to tap out because they don't want to lose to combo, which is a cool thing about this deck because really, like you saw kind of when you guys came in after your raid, shout out again to Co Diamonds, you saw that we can win without a combo. We don't fucking need it. Like we can just win with our good cards, right? So that's kind of neat. And the big question on my mind is this deck better than the oh great, we have 2 good cards. Discard to that. That's so funny, dude. Yes. Have I got 2 cards to discard for you? I don't know why that makes me laugh. Oh god, that's funny. But yeah, so we can just win with our good cards, you know. We don't need to play anything fucking crazy. We have 3 red sources in the play, so I think it's time to play a green source here. And give us a little bit more time to think about what we want to turn this Dark Borg pathway. We do play Urborg too, so it's worth considering. And this is kind of pressuring my opponent to either stomp or they have to queue up Hive this turn. Like they're going to open up on a duress, so really don't have any good targets here. Unless, yeah, no, I mean, they don't have any good targets, honestly. If they plan on playing another creature, Dreadbore is probably their pick. Okay, so they're just going to Dreadbore Chandra. That's fine. We play around Fatal Push. Lose one of my red sources. So suppose I can play this on black. Not really doing anything else with this turn. Other than like potentially leaving up Fire Prophecy, which I guess, yeah. Correct line. Oh well. They have 2 cards in hand. That's fine. Might actually pitch Fire Prophecy to Fire Prophecy. No, you know what? I'm gonna throw this Beseiju into the, because I have a Fire Prophecy to answer their Hive. I'll take the 2. The shitty thing about this is I open myself up to another Fatal Push, but it's not the end of the world. That Anger is the next thing that's gonna go. The card's been kind of consistently bad. Okay, well, gonna go anyway, I guess. All right, 2 cards in hand now. Answers for those lands. Rid of that. Shuffle that. Sick. Not sick, but that's okay. We can always discard this. It's cool because that's exactly what I plan on doing. Fine with that. I'm okay with that. I think I'm going to throw both of these away. Okay. Chariot's a really good one. Thoughtseize is really awkward, obviously. Make them think about Fatal Push, I guess. Chariot's so good against Black-Red. If there's any takeaway from this matchup for you guys, like, I mean, even if you're not going to play whatever I'm playing, Chariot is a good card against Black-Red. I'm just now discovering this, but worth noting. Yeah, I mean, like, we didn't even combo. We didn't need to. Apparently, you can't lose a game with this deck if you win, but apparently if you are going to lose, you're going to get 2-0'd. So just fair warning. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think... I didn't really pay attention to that match. I'm not going to lie. I was too preoccupied with, like, gloating about how much I'm winning. But, like, you guys think World Spine Worm's better than Titan of Industry? Like, do I just have 2 copies of this deck? Okay, here it is. Like, Breach Trample obviously doesn't win the game the turn it comes down. But, like, I don't know. There's opportunities where it's like, okay, if you draw this card, you can just cast it, which is great. It's a huge upside. You can play fucking what's that card called? The one that Titan Shift and Amulet plays. Castle Garenbrig helps you cast it. So like eventually you get to the point in this game where you're like drawing them and you're casting them, right? Whereas with World Spine Worm, you're just like you hold this L, you have to discard it or whatever. But the thing is, like World Spine Worm, like game one, right? When we got World Spine Worm into play, like we're not winning that game outright with the Titan. They would have played it out, right? They would have just killed Titan, right? Even if we made a shield counter and a 4/4, you know, it would have been hard to do. But they probably still would have lost eventually. But like, oh, it's this guy. It's the deflecting palm guy. Oh man, I wonder if he's playing deflecting palm. I hope he doesn't deflecting palm my World Spine Worm and deal me 15 damage. That would be bad. He's playing mono green. I kept a bad hand against mono green. It might work out. I guess it's not that bad. Thoughtseize is pretty reasonable against them. I'm just not going to be able to interact with their elf. We can take Old Growth Troll. I think that's probably the pick here. And then, like, let them go land, do nothing, hopefully. I have this bad... Yeah, see, I was about to fucking say, I have this bad thing that happens to me against mono green, where whenever I make them discard a card, they still draw something on curve. Sucks. So they can go land, untap. Dude, if I kill this, they can go land. Do I kill Kiora? I feel like I have to Thoughtseize, take Karn out of their hand. Don't like them having Pelucranos, but like, can I draw a card? Freaking sucks about this card. Can they really do anything with Karn? I guess Karn kind of fucks up my chariot. Alright, fuck it. I'm killing Kiora. Bye-bye. I'll just have to decide if they want to Pelucranos this turn or Karn. Okay. So the good news is I can take Karn out of there. Bad news is I might get beat up by this Pelucranos for a little bit. Okay, Old Growth Troll. I think what I'm going to do is take Old Growth Troll here and just kill Llanowar Elves. And throw a chariot to my... It's like 100% they can cast this next turn. It's not 100% they can cast this, so... Just going to bank on a little bit of luck here. Shuffle that. Land. Sick. We buy another turn. Do much for me. Another land. No, I give them black, but I think I'm going to crew in response to them casting Karn here. Because then once they resolve Karn, I can't crew anymore. Done. Is this a matchup where you bring in Void Winnower, I wonder? World Spine Worm does not outright win you the mono green matchup. Interesting. Oh, kind of telling on myself a little bit here, I guess, but have to do it to give myself a chance, right? At least that kind of stems the bleeding a little bit. I still think I lose, unfortunately, unless I miraculously draw an Ob Nixilis. But, play to our outs, right? What did I do? Can't always control how the game works out, but we can definitely play to our outs and play the best Magic we can. They have some options here. They can minus. They don't have enough devotion yet. Festival. They always seem to get it at the right time in my experience. It never fails. I'll whittle my opponent. I've gone on record doing this, like on stream. I actually played against somebody where they had like pretty much stone cold nothing, like no outs. They kept a hand that was like one land and a Llanowar Elf and like a bunch of shit they couldn't cast on the draw against me. And I thought seized them. I was playing red-black mid-range, and they curved out and killed me the fastest way possible. It's crazy. They went from one land, Llanowar Elves, and a bunch of stuff they couldn't cast to winning on curve, rapid fashion. I, of course, took the Llanowar Elves with, because I figured, they're only on one land. Surely we take the Elf. I didn't have a removal spell at the time, and they just... Gonna be an interesting next turn for me. Do I attack them? Meteor Golem. Interesting. They can Meteor Golem, like they can deal with the cat token. This is a little weird. Because like I'm kind of dead. Squirm it. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it.
At the sweet prize I won.
Kind of fucked. There's like I can't really do too much without leaving myself like dead on board, right? Guess I can attack Kiora this turn and like hope. Because like as of right now they have enough devotion. They go 1-2, they net. Seven mana. Yeah, they can do a lot with Kiora this turn, or next turn, so I feel like I have to do that. I'll keep this Mana Confluence in my hand because like could potentially discard it later to like a Fire Prophecy or something. I do intend on potentially Voltaic Surging this turn, sacrificing my Chariot that I can't crew anyway. I think what they're going to try and do is just go for the easy win here. I'm going to cast Cavalier, which is kind of, I guess they're hoping to hit another Rakdos. They did. Now they're going to cast Meteor Golem. So basically what I'm doing is I am banking on like my only out here being next turn I can swing with World Spine Worm, and if I draw Obnixilis, I just win, potentially. Depends on how they attack. I'm assuming they're just gonna go for lethal this turn because I don't really know why you wouldn't. But I don't know. They might be overthinking it or something. I don't know. Like, you can cast Storm the Festival this turn, but you could also just cast Meteor Golem and try to kill me. Yeah, you could also just do that, I suppose. That works. That's like strictly better than Meteor Golem. Yep. All right, so mono green. You know, quite frankly, not super duper sure how to sideboard in for this matchup. It seems that every time I try to approach the matchup like I'm going to disrupt their hand, they seem to just draw exactly what they need anyway. And I know that seems like very cliche, like, oh, they always have it, but like, I'm serious. Like, I don't know, when I approach this matchup, I always seem to like go after their hand, and it never seems to play out correctly. I don't know if Void Winnower is the right way to approach this matchup. Like, World Spine Worm certainly doesn't win on its own. But like, Void Winnower also isn't like a great... It definitely disrupts their combo, that's for fucking sure. They can't combo with Void Winnower play. Maybe that is the like direction that I want to go with this matchup. In which case, Obnixilis gets worse because obviously Void Winnower is not a good sacrifice target to Obnixilis. So maybe we bring in like Duress over Obnixilis, even though like it is a reasonable card on its own. It's certainly very reasonable. Anger of the Gods can be good like on the play, I suppose. Doesn't hit their key creatures. Let's bring in some Duresses here. But Chariot seems kind of iffy in this matchup, especially considering like how that last game played out. How do we feel about Chandra? Do we feel like Chandra is worth it at all? I mean, it's a good alternate threat. I mainly brought this in my sideboard for the blue-white control matchup, but it's be potentially good here. Exiles, which is relevant. Those are Planeswalkers. Let's go this route. Yeah, I would say, I mean, very aggressive mana base, but hey, that's what we signed up for, right? Open up on a Thoughtseize, and then we can turn 3 Chandra them. Pretty decent. Right, they have a hand of Anadorks and Karn. It's Oath of Nissa. I guess I take their Karn, right? I could see this deck being my deck playing one copy of like Alpine Moon. That might be worth it. Just to name Nykthos. I will say the Xenagos version of this deck has a very good time against mono green. That Fire Prophecy definitely made me think a little bit, because right now I don't have a another land, and my opponent has one unknown. They're gonna go land. I guess they're gonna Mystic Oath of Nissa next turn regardless, so it should be. found another Elvish Mystic. They have Elvish Mystics for days. Two. Maybe. Just do this, slow them down a little bit. Still didn't hit a land, which is unfortunate. But the good thing is they're not doing anything. That's us. Here we go. And let's get this ball rolling. Damn it. Would love to have drawn that. That hurts my heart a little bit. Just a little bit. Did not get a Storm the Festival, so that's solid. Do this first. What is with this? No, I guess. We want to kill this. That is the question. I can block it all day long. Seems kind of not worth it. But it definitely does help their devotion a little bit. What would they do though? They would put like Karn on top, I suppose. Yeah, I just have to bank on them like not drawing like straight fire off the top of their deck, which usually is a losing strategy for me. Without fail, my opponents draw like hot lava off the top of their deck when I'm in these situations with mono green, and I swear to God, they just did it. They just did it, right? See, they drew a Karn. Like, incredible how that works. Luckily, we have Dreadbore, but like, without fail, they will not draw a land. I swear to God, for the rest of the fucking game, they won't hit a land. They'll just fucking keep. They'll be drawing Karn. They'll be drawing fucking Storm the Festival. They'll be drawing Cavalier. Like, just the top of the curve. Top of the curve. Godpharaoh statue is very annoying. It's going to be difficult to beat that. We can definitely beat it, but it's going to be hard to do. I mean, I could kill one of their mana dorks here, but I think I just have to let Chandra take the hit. Fortunate. Hit a dork here. Spells cost 2 more to cast, so we'd shock, go to 7, go to 6, be taking 1. Beginning of their instep.
Look at the sweet prize I won.
Near complete. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's see how they attack this turn. In a pretty rough spot. My draws definitely were not experienced with me. Normally, I wouldn't say this would be a tough matchup, and they're going all face now, which is very interesting. I do want to leave one creature alive just in case we draw another what do you call it? Mogrify. That would potentially get me out of this. That doesn't really do it. And it costs 2 more mana to cast. Could make 2 tokens, I suppose. So it's gonna cost 5. So we go +1, add 2, and 2, and I guess we just plus, right? See what it is. No blood crypt. Cast this for casualty. X is 1. Gain some life here. What do you know? They did draw a land. I said they wouldn't, but they did. They go on face again? Okay. Bold strategy, Cotton. Do I want to minus this? I think I have to, right? Yeah, I absolutely have to. It wasn't even a question. Man, look at Obnixilis coming in clutch. Gaining me life and such. Discarded their Kiora instead of, which seems rather odd and incorrect. Coming at me again. They just don't learn. They don't learn, chat. Coming at me all wrong. The wrong tone. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Damn, son. Where'd you find this? I've been hanging on. I'm impressed that I've survived this long, to be completely honest. I do think Void Winnower is good in this matchup, though. It seems good. They can't combo. They can't cast Karn. Like... Oh, no. Heck. Are they going to name Chandra, or are they going to name Nixilis? They're afraid. They're afraid of my planeswalkers. I mean, if you name Nixilis, then I can't put a blocker up, but I could potentially draw some action. This is a bitch right here. Like, you need a K command or something. Don't play that card, but okay, I named Chandra. I guess we just plus. Oh wait, yeah, that's right. Staying alive, staying alive. They're gonna mine us here and fucking play something gnarly on me. I already know. There's no chance. No shot. Shadow Spear. That'll do it, fam. That'll do it. Good God, we drew bad. Okay, well, we had a little 3-2 action going. I mean, my statement stands earlier. We can't, apparently we can't, it's one way or the other with this deck. You either lose or you fucking win. And that last one we lost, but I mean, man, I don't know how to make the mono green matchup better. I will say, like, World Spine Worm over Titan of Industry definitely seems to be a strong consideration. You know, potentially it's worth it. They probably cheated. Yeah, I laughed when I saw it was Batutinha, or however you pronounce his name. I was like, I wonder if he's playing Deflecting Palm.
At the sweet prize I won.
He's gonna Deflecting Palm my World Spine Worm. Fails CNT. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for the follow, fam. I thought it was funny. You know, I'm not gonna throw shade. I like what they did was wrong. Everyone busted them out for it. I'm not the witch hunter guy. You guys saw it. You make a judge a character for yourself. I have my own stories about that person, but you know, they never cheated against me. Let's just say that. Yeah. I've had a witch hunt against myself. I didn't cheat or anything like that. I literally just asked a person to be my teammate in a tournament, and apparently that was bad, and I shouldn't have did that. Apparently we reconciled that, but like people freaked out over it. They were like, you're a bad person, you know, asking a woman to be your partner at a tournament. But we've realized that was a miscommunication, and they were thinking a little bit too far into it. But I know how it feels to be on the receiving end of a Twitter MTG witch hunt. Believe me, it's weird when you open up Twitter and you've got like 50 notifications and all people being like, "You're a bad person." It's strange feeling, especially when you have no idea what happened or what you said. But their situation is obviously a little bit different. Their situation is a little bit more blatant. But yeah, this deck was fun, man. I mean, like, I don't know. I got mad because I had lethal and an opponent wouldn't concede to me. They were dead on board. Yeah. Like, what was the circumstance, though? Are they like, were you playing Moto? Were you going to time out? What was the... Because here's the thing, like, I've been playing Moto a long time. I used to be like I used to be one of those people who was like, oh man, like you should play honorably and do the right thing and concede and, you know, not let your opponent time out. But now I'm kind of like, you know, I mean, at this point, people do it to me. So if that's the deck you're playing and you're going to time out, then, I mean, it is what it is. I'm a 4-color player, so I should know more than anybody, right? I have to play fast. Just a PPTQ? Well, in that case, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit different, right? Why, like, in what circumstance do you not win anyway? Like, they wouldn't concede to you, but you're presenting lethal, right? So it's like, you would just win anyway. They have to proceed with the game. They can't just be like, let me stop you right there. I'm not going any further than this. You ain't conceding because your open will be going in time in real life. That's true. Magic Online is a different game, 100%. But yeah, in Mikey's circumstance, that's a little bit different, right? Like, if opponent is being hard-headed about facing down lethal, like that's just like incorrect, right? But there are those people. There are those weird people who have a problem with losing or something. Oh, you know what? You're in turns, right? That's what's going on? Okay. Well, to be honest, Mikey, I understand where you're coming from, but rules are rules. And unfortunately, I've been in your situation before, recently, actually, in a 5K where I was going to top 8, and my opponent was at 1 life, and I had them dead turn 6, right? Or turn 7, I guess, because they would be turn 6, but I couldn't kill them, so they won. I realized later after the fact that I had misplayed, and of course, you know, you're going to realize these things. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I hold no grudge against them. That's on me. I could have won if I'd paid attention to it. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. But that's the way I see it. 0 cards in hand, nothing on board. Yeah, well, 100% they're dead. But unfortunately, you guys are in time, right? And it's a shared clock. So the game we play. I mean, I just have I think Mir, I understand. I want to be empathetic, and I do understand what Mikey is saying, and he's not wrong. It's just that I come from kind of a different train of thought. You know, I like to consider myself as you know, not to play like devil's advocate or anything, but like I have to play within the confines of the rules, and sometimes the rules just aren't going to work in my favor, unfortunately, and I just have to live with that. You know, I even had an instance in another 5K where I was going to top 8 and I was 100% going to win, and neither me or my opponent could make it in top 8 if we drew, right? I was 100% going to win this game, right? Neither my opponent or me were going to make it in top 8 if we drew. We went to time, we were going to draw, and I was like, would you like to concede to me? And they were like, no. And I was like, well, I asked, you know. They didn't want to concede. They were 100% going to lose the game. And it was for $5,000 in the top 8. But, you know, those few extra packs to them were worth it. They paid their entry fee and I couldn't kill them. So it is what it is. I'm a pal. I'll concede when I know I'm dead. Oh, for sure. I mean, definitely. I will to an extent. I mean, I think if the stakes are high, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I am not gonna concede if I get a draw and I can continue my tournament life and potentially top 8 or top 16. If the stakes are high, I'm not conceding. I'm taking the draw. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if we're just playing a local, like a PPTQ, yeah, probably. I'll probably concede to you. I'll probably scoop, but that's just me. That's not everybody, right? Like Mir said, to each their own, right? It is what it is, you know. I understand, and you know what, Mikey, you're a very likable person, and that's why you have a lot of friends. And some people don't have a lot of friends. Yeah, and that's true, Mir. Bottom line, as long as no one cheats, right? And that's kind of what got us sent down this path. Is like talking about someone kind of blatantly cheating, but like, as long as they're not cheating, right? That's my mindset too. Like, I can't be too mad. They paid their entry fee, right? They have the right to deny a concession. And I, you know, as much as I do at the time sometimes feel some type of way about it, but I think later, after some reflection and stuff, I'm like, hey, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, it's the rules. Rules are rules until they change them. But yeah, I don't know. I think this deck is interesting. I don't know if it worked a lot better than our first version of the deck. I'll say that. I mean, it was pretty dope actually. In that regard, I definitely think. I mean, 3-2 is not terrible. I definitely think that there could be a little bit more improvement. Again, I don't know if World Spine Worm is better than Titan of Industry, but I really like being able to like the Courier's Briefcase and Careful Cultivation into the turn 3 Transmogrify was that was fucking amazing. I love that. That was awesome. Turn 3 World Spine Worm and Pioneer, like, sign me the fuck up for that. That seemed really strong. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, no, I mean, I'm you know, I'm sure other people feel the same way. And I probably don't validate people enough, and that's something that I'm definitely working on, because I think these things but don't say them out loud. So like, you know, I hope you know, like, my train of thought comes from a place of love, you know what I mean? It's not like me telling you like you shouldn't feel how you feel about this. I totally understand where you're coming from, and in certain circumstances I agree with you. Like PPTQ, no problem conceding. GP, you know, well, I guess now they're not no more, but like SCG Con, where I'm still live for top 8 or top 16, I'm not conceding. I'm gonna take the draw. Even if I'm at 1 and you're presenting lethal, we get a turn or time. I'm sorry, fam. It just is what it is. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. We're all friends here. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna do it for me tonight. Really appreciate you guys sticking by. Shout out to Co Diamonds once again for the raid. He's a real dude, real friend. And I'm gonna send you guys over to Ali. But I appreciate you guys. You guys are super awesome, and I will be on hopefully tomorrow. Play some more Pioneer. We'll probably play a real deck. Maybe some Modern. I do need to start brushing up on Modern. Later, peeps. Later. Have a good night.
I mean, I can't beat Rebels. Even if they come off, don't come off. That Rebels is beating. Yo, Danny been beat out. Think of 27 months. Ooh. $27 months. Wow, sorry. Thank you for the raid, not 27 months. Jesus Christ. I appreciate you. Chat, make sure to check out Danny. Check out their stream. My bad. Hope you're streaming well. I'm just raging at this guy.
Need them beans, my man.
Yo, bean dealer. Will these beans... What will they do for me? Okay, we're not attacking.
I retweet something real quick and we can watch something. Good stream. Got another raid. 35 people. Good. Yeah. And honestly, like, it turns into me
Can I
raiding
move on with my
someone
life
else,
yet?
which, you know, I used to
I
be
think we're
really
beating
bad about that, but
Rebels.
I've been really good about it lately. And it's definitely
We're gonna be on Historic
like,
all night? No, we're gonna...
you know,
No,
getting
no.